Oh boy. James Cameron. He just never learns, does he? He just doesn't know when to keep quiet. So our good friend James Cameron has once again opened his mouth. This time on his list of ignorant comments was Aquaman. Now we heard what he had to say about movies like Wonder Woman, how he feels like Wonder Woman didn't portray what a real strong woman can do and all this other nonsense. He's bashed Avengers, he's bashed the new Star Wars, like pretty much anything that's not his property. He has something slick to say because he's James Cameron. He's the best and he's the greatest and he can go fuck himself because I really don't give a shit about Avatar and his 25 sequels. But with that said, guys, he did have some comments about Aquaman. I'm going to read his comments and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to discuss his comments. I think it's great fun, he said. He thinks it's great fun. I think it's a movie I could never have made, truthfully. I could have never made that film because it requires this total dreamlike disconnect from any sense of the physics or reality. It has to be real, guys. It has to be real. Just like the love story between Jack and Rose, people. It has to be real. You have to feel the passion. It exists somewhere between a Greek mythic landscape and a fairy tale landscape. People just kind of zoom around underwater because they propel themselves mentally? I guess? I don't know, but it's cool. Doesn't seem like you think it's that cool there, Jimmy. You buy it on its own terms, but I've spent thousands of hours underwater. Hey, does anybody got a cookie? I'm very literal about underwater. It needs to look like it's real. And why I can enjoy that film, I don't resonate with it because it doesn't look real. It's a bunch of people that lives underwater, James. It's the entire civilization that lives underwater. And you want to talk about realism? It's a comic book property, son. They're riding seahorses, for Christ's sake, you jackass. Then he goes on to say, and by the way, Aquaman doesn't help us with our issues of actual understanding the ocean and exploring the ocean and preserving the ocean. Because we have to preserve the ocean. The ocean's been around for a bajillion years. And Aquaman doesn't help us with understanding it, guys. It just doesn't. Though they did throw in a couple things like whales and things like that to remind us that we are using the ocean as a garbage dump. So I applaud them for that. Thank you, James. We very much appreciate that. Everybody knows I had certain issues with Aquaman. Is it a perfect film? By all means, no, it's not a perfect film. It has problems. You guys heard me talk about how some moments the CGI looked fantastic, other moments the CGI looked But James Cameron has to stop coming out and just ripping these superhero films to shreds, okay? You're not doing it. You're not doing it. The closest you ever got to doing it was when you were rumored to do a Spider-Man film way before Sam Raimi took over. You're not doing it, James. You worry about your 35, 45 different Avatar sequels that you're going to be making that no one gives a shit about. You want to talk about things not being original. Avatar was a blatant ripoff of several different properties. It was a ripoff of Dances with Wolves meets fucking Fern Gully. You ripped actual scenes from Fern Gully and transferred them to your movie. And the special effects in your movie, yeah, they were cutting edge at the time. I didn't think so. There were some shoddy effects in Avatar as well. Why doesn't Aquaman look realistic? Because it's a comic book property, you ass. It's based on a comic. You have entire civilizations living underwater for thousands, hundreds and thousands of years. That's not supposed to be believable. You're not supposed to, what are you going to do, give them gills? How are you going to make it any more believable than what James Wan could possibly make it believable? How could you possibly do anything different than what James Wan did? It's a comic book property. He stuck to the source material. You got to stop putting down these movies. You got to stop putting down the Avengers, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. It just makes you look like a fucking conniving prick is what it makes you look like. It makes you look like an asshole. So stop doing it. You're James Cameron. 2 of your movies are the top movies grossing of all time. So you think you can just throw your shit around like you don't care. Like everybody owes you something. How about you shut up? How about you just shut the fuck up, please? Please!